Hey guys, Carl Brown from GL365.com. Today we're going to take a look at Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. So this is a really cool one. It's got a lot of fingerstyle stuff. It's got that really classic intro that everybody knows and wants to learn how to play on guitar. So we're going to tackle that today along with all the chords that work throughout the song. And in the second video we'll take a look at the solo. Alright, so let's jump right into it. It starts in E minor. We're going to have a basic picking pattern, low 6th string open, then your index finger, that's played with your thumb by the way, then your index finger is going to take care of the G string open, middle finger the B string open, and then the high E string with your ring finger. Then come back down to the 2nd string with your middle finger, and then back to the 3rd string with your index. Alright, so repeat that. Now, instead of coming all the way down to the G on that very last one, it comes back to the 7th fret here. Just play it by itself with your 3rd finger, and then you pick it with the 6th string together. Then you continue picking with your middle finger on the B string, index finger on the G. So we have this. Then go back to that 7th with your ring finger, pick it, and pull it off to the open string. And then continue with the middle finger on the B and the index finger on the G. Then we go the thumb on the 6th, index on the open G. Now we have this little phrase. Alright, so let's take a look at that. That is simply what we got so far though. Okay, now we have this, which is going to be the 7 on the high E string picked with your ring finger and the open B string picked with your middle finger at the same time. And then put your pinky down on the 8th fret and pick up both of those strings again together. So that open B string is ringing there. Then with your ring finger, come back to the 7th fret. And that's going to be hammer to 8, pull back to 7, pull off to 5. So we have, then come back down to the 7th fret on the high E along with the B string again. Pick those two again, so we have this. Then you slide from the 5th fret down to 3, then to the 5th fret on the B string. And then you pick that B again with to start the next phrase basically. This next phrase is this. So we have the 5th string open with your thumb, and then that 5th fret on the B string with your middle finger. Then you pick the index on you got your 5th fret here now on the G string as well. So you pick the 5th and 2nd string together, index on the 3rd string, back to the middle finger on the 2nd string. Reach over, and when you pick the 1st string now with your ring finger, have your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and then pull it off with the open string. Then come back down with the middle finger on the B string and then the index on the G. So we have. Then just pick across those strings again. That's just thumb, index, middle, ring. Alright, then we have this. Alright, so it's just, you still got these two fingers here on the 5th fret on the G and the B string. You have your index, ring, and middle here on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings here. And then the thumb on the 5th string. So you're hitting all 4 of those strings. Then put your first finger down on the second fret on the A string and pick that same strings again. And then move it up to the third fret this time, same strings again. So you pick them and come back down the strings to kind of mute them, give it a staccato feel. Alright, so as soon as you hit that last one with your finger at the third fret, you have this. So that's just thumb, then index on the G string, middle on the B string, back to the index on the G. Then reach your first finger over and grab that third fret on the high E with picking it with your ring finger and pull off to the open string. Pick that. Then you come back to the B string, then the index, on the third string, and then pick those 4 strings again. Then move everything up just 2 frets. Pick the same strings again, you still got the high E open. And you pick the thumb then on the 5th string, then the third string, 2nd string, 3rd string. Same fingers we were picking before. Then we have this phrase, which is hammer on, 0 to 5 on the first high E string, then pull off 7 to 0 on the B string, and then hammer on 0 to 5 on the B. Then the low E string, and then the harmonics at the 12th fret on the G, B, and E string. Then continue that same phrase. The same general E minor picking pattern. So we have this. That's just E minor chord, a bar chord across 5 strings, and we're going to pick the thumb on just across the 6, 5, 4. Just use them all for your thumb, with your thumb. And then the index finger's got the G string, and then the B and the high E string are picked together with your middle and ring finger. Here we have, you can play this like this with your pinky or here or whatever. That is basically a bar across the 7th fret on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, and your 5th fret on the A string. And I just picked that like this thumb, then thumb again on the D string, and then those 2 notes right here are picked with your index and middle fingers. Same thing, down 2 frets, then everything again. What you're gonna need to do is when you shift down to this D, this power chord, let the tip of your first finger rub against that 6th string so you don't have that ringing underneath it. So after you do that 3 times, then we come to the G, bar at this 3rd fret with your 3rd finger at the 5th fret on the D, and then your 2nd finger at the 4th fret on the G string. The thumb will play the 6th string, then the 4th, and then your index and middle will play this 3rd and 2nd string together. Then we go to this B7 chord, which is a bar at the 2nd fret, pinky at the 4th fret on the 2nd string, and 3rd finger at the 4th fret on the D string. Pick across 5, 4 with your thumb, and then the index and middle finger take care of the other 2 strings, which is the 2nd and 3rd string together. Then back to. Now this song has 2 guitar parts, or 3 or 4 sometimes. There's some guitar layers in it. We're not going to tackle all those, just the essential parts of it here. So you'll hear this little part on top. When I'm doing this. And that's just a. So if you want to play something like that, it's just a D major triad, C major triad, G major triad, then the B7. So that's going on, but it's a different guitar, so we're just kind of trying to keep if we can, put things together or whatever. All right, then we have the verse when the vocals come in. So that starts with, it's kind of weird to remember this, but we have open 6th string, then the G string, then the B string, then your 3rd fret on the high E. Then back to the G string, then all 3 open strings here, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, a little bit quicker. So you go from 8th notes to 16th notes. Then we're gonna reach over and grab this D. When you do that, let your thumb come over and just mute the low E string that's still ringing. That you're playing the D note, open D, with your 2nd finger here on the high E string. Then we have a D sus4 by just putting the 3 down on the 1st and 2nd strings and picking across the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. So I had those 2 notes together at first, then the open D, then those 3. Then put your 2nd finger here on the 3rd fret on the A string. Keep your 3rd finger here at the D note on the B string, 3rd fret. So we have this, the 5th string, 3rd fret with the 1st string open there. Then there goes 3 on the B string, open G, then 3, 2 on the 6th string down to the open. So that's then just like so what changed there was that it was the same at the beginning. Going to the D again with the mute here. But now, instead of going, it goes. So we have the open D string with the 2nd fret on the high E together. Open D again. B string, 3rd fret. Pull off 2nd on the 2nd fret to the open string on the 3rd string. And then play the 3s together on the 5th and 2nd strings. Then the G string open, back to the B. That 3, 2, 0 again. So we have back to the same thing again that we started with. Alright, so far we got so this next one is, we have, after this, basically 3rd time through it, we have the same open D with a high 2nd fret here, D string again, and then the sus chord across the first 3 strings, and then put your 2nd finger here on the 5th string, and we pick the high E string together and with the 5th string, then the B string, and then the open G. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. Alright, and then we're going to finish this off with. So it's just G chord here, thumb on the low 6th string, index on the G string, and then the top 2 strings together. Here's that B7 chord here. 2nd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the G, 2nd fret on the high E. Everything else is open. We're going to be picking the 5th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings together. Then pick the 5th string by itself, and the 1st string by itself, and then the 2nd string by itself. And then 2 outside strings open. Then start the rhythm figure again. And then we go back to repeat everything we just did with that little 3-2. Alright, So when we're coming back around to end it again, you want to grab a pick, and we have the first chord just going into the so that's just a C major chord to A major to a D major, and when you get to the D major, it's just that you put the third fret down, then back to 2, open on the high E string, back to the 2nd fret. So it's all a melody just happening on the 1st string over the chord. Now, they like to mix it up. Hetfield sometimes will play that C, A up here with like the bar or the thumb on this right here, like kind of like Hendrix does. But you know, it's pretty simple just to keep it down here. And then we end it with the E minor chord. Then we have a slow section, which is instrumental, a little solo. A lot of guitar, so we're going to kind of combine that real quick and just try to get something that you can do on one guitar. So let's do this. It's going to sound like this. Alright, so that's going to go bar across the 12th fret on the 1st and 2nd string. Pick the low 6th string with the high E string. Then pick the middle finger on the B string. Then the open G. Then come up and grab the 14th fret on the high E and just pick across those 3 strings again. Still keeping that 12 down. So the open low E string only happens every other one. So we got. Alright, now put on the 15 on the high E string, and this time you add the open E again. Then up to the 17th fret. Then come down with a bar across the first 3 strings here on the 5th fret with your pinky at the 8th fret on the high E string. Open A underneath it. So I'm just going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then this time I'm going to reverse it. Open A and pick across 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we got then come to the C chord. First finger on the first fret on the 2nd string, 3rd finger at the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Pick the 5th string and 1st string together. Then that's just picking down those 3 strings again, then just the first 2. Then we're going to come to a D suspended 2nd chord. And that's just, you're going to be picking the open D string on the 4th string. High E is open. Pick across those 3 strings, then again just down to the 2nd. Now you can do this on this, that, or just to do something like this, just like they did in the intro. So this is easier here, which is just both outside strings open, a hammer on the 7th fret, continue down, 2, 3, and then pick it again, and pull it off, and come back down to 3. Then you do all that again. Now instead of going to the D here, you have a rhythm guitarist can do it, but you can come up and do a little fill that Kirk Hammett does, and it's just. So it's just 12, hammer on to 14, back to 12, then back 12, 14. Little bend on the 14 and come back down to the 12. All right, and then we had this little, it's an oblique bend, and he's picking it as he's rising it, or just raising it, not rising it. You do that, you release the bend, pull off to 12, pull off to 12 from 14 on the D string, hammer back onto the 14, come over the 12 on the G string, and then back down to 14 on the D. All right, so it goes back to the same verses that we went through before, back to the same. And it takes you to the solo, which we'll take a look at in the next video. All right, have fun, guys. Bye-bye.